Good afternoon, everyone, and good morning to those tuning in from out west. Welcome to today's webinar, Bucketlist Worthy Yucatan. I'm Dan McDonald from Baxter Media, and today is Thursday, January 16th. This is our very first webinar of the year, so we're very excited to dive into it. Presenting today is Tammy, Cecco, publisher and editor of Travel Life on behalf of the Yucatan Tourism Board. Hi, Tammy, how are you today?
I'm great, thanks. I'm really excited to be here.
Excellent. That's great. We're excited to have you, and since you are already sharing your screen for us, you can get started whenever you're ready.
Perfect. Sounds great. A big thanks to everyone for joining in today. I think it's a great way to start off the new year to hear about an exciting destination, and personally, I'm really super excited and honored to be asked by the Tourism Board for the state of Yucatan to conduct this webinar on their behalf, as it's a destination that I really hold very close to my heart. In a past life, I lived and worked in Mexico when I was a rep for Signature Vacations many years ago. And it was an amazing experience, and it gave me the opportunity to travel a lot throughout Mexico. And I was really fortunate to be able to travel a lot outside of just the well-known beach destinations. I'm not sure if anyone remembers way back when a charter program started to Merida, probably more than 20 years ago now. And again, I'm probably dating myself with that bit of information. But the wonderful thing about it is the destination has retained that feeling of being a wonderful hidden gem, unspoiled by tourism. And, you know, the charter program only lasted for a couple of years back then. But we're really lucky that WestJet started flying again a couple of years ago to bring Canadians to the destination. There are actually a whole community of Canadians that live and spend their winters in Yucatan, so it's been a great way to connect them again for easy and convenient flights to the destination. And really, by the end of this webinar, I'm confident that you'll share my passion for Yucatan and agree it's really, truly bucket list worthy. So let's get started. So it's important to understand where the Yucatan is, and many people get confused with the Yucatan Peninsula as opposed to the state of Yucatan. So the Yucatan Peninsula is what people refer to that encompasses Cancun and Riviera Maya, and the state of Yucatan is actually its own entity and does not include destinations like Cancun. It's in the middle of the Yucatan Peninsula, and the capital city of the state is Merida. So it's pronounced Merida, but for most people, they'll say it Merida. The state is located directly next to the state of Quintana Roo, which I'm sure you are all familiar with. This makes it easy for Cancun to actually be another option for flights, as the city of Merida is really only about a 3 to 3.5 hour drive from Cancun, with lots of amazing places to stop along the way. It also makes Yucatan State a great add-on to any trip to Cancun or Riviera Maya in order to create a two-center holiday for your clients, which really makes it a little bit more interesting, a little bit more cultural than just a beach holiday. As I said, WestJet does fly direct from Toronto now, and they have convenient direct flights Toronto to Merida from November to April every year. Other options to get to Merida are flying through Mexico City, of course, or connecting through the United States, which there are many options to do so. Now that we know how to get to the Yucatan, let me just show you a snapshot of the region. It's broken up into different areas. At the north, where you can see all those palm trees at the top, is the Yucatecan coast. In the center, we have, of course, the capital city of Merida, and in the south, the Puc route, and in the east, it's the capital of the Mayan world, Chichen Itza, and the Valladolid region. So Merida, going back to Merida being the capital of Yucatan, as I said, it's the capital of the state and really considered the entrance to the whole area and considered the heart of the Yucatan Peninsula. Now, this city will truly capture your heart. Although it's modern in many ways and its advancements for things like commerce and conventions, the historic center of the city is so charming, I can't tell you, with strong European influence, and you can see the French colonial architecture, beautiful houses, churches, museums, squares, and theaters. It's really, really a special place. And like I said, over the last 20 years, in the downtown colonial center, I have not seen it change a lot. Some of the recognition that Merida has received include Capital of Culture of the Americas, the safest city in Mexico, which is really an important point for telling your clients, and it's been voted as one of the top 5 cities to visit. And the recognition really goes on and on. The city of Merida is very vibrant with incredible modern facilities, like I said, but what really makes it special is that it's steeped deeply in heritage and tradition, and that's really what I love about it so much. It's home to the Yucatan Symphony Orchestra and the Peon Contreras Symphony Hall, and that a visit there is really a great way to mingle with the locals and experience first-rate entertainment. Of course, other nightlife includes nightclubs, even cantinas, and culinary tours. And another good thing about the city is the tourism board makes it very accessible for people to experience cultural activities for free, with free access every single day in the city. Due to the wealth that this whole region experienced in the late 19th century, a group of ruling Yucatecans, which is what we call people from that area, decided to launch a project to build a public promenade that they thought would be worthy of Merida and modernize the capital of the late 19th century. Today it's called the Paseo de Montejo, and it was built between the years 1886 and 1905. And what's an interesting fact about it is that it was actually inspired by the Champs-Élysées in Paris, and it was named after the founder of the city of Merida, Francisco de Montejo. So it's really a beautiful place to hang out, and your clients will enjoy strolling along the historical promenade, either by foot or in one of the many horse-drawn carriages that you'll see going up and down the street for hire. So another important cultural product for your clients are the haciendas. They were really famous between the 17th and 19th centuries. They used to be cattle ranches, Heineken producers, or both, and have since become magical alternatives to a traditional hotel. Just to give you a little bit of history on these haciendas, in the early 1900s, the local economy was booming due to the Heineken, which was also known as green gold. So for those of you who don't know what Heineken is, it's a native plant similar to the agave, which tequila is made from. But the Heineken is the plant where the sisal fiber comes from. And it's this that they use to make rope, cord, and twine. And this product back then made the owners of these haciendas immensely wealthy. After the Yucatan Caste War and the invention of synthetic fibers, most of these haciendas were just abandoned in the middle of the jungle. Now some haciendas have been converted into luxury boutique hotels with elegant rooms, swimming pools, spas, and magnificent gardens. You might even be familiar with some of them, and you didn't even realize, because Starwood has 3 properties in Yucatan featured under their luxury collection. And if you've ever heard of Chablais Resort, it's received many, many awards. So this type of accommodation is a really unique offering for your clients if they want luxury and they really want to immerse themselves into the Mexican culture and history. You could even create a package with a few nights in the city of Merida or the beach and combine that with a few nights in a hacienda to really enhance the overall experience. Other unrestored haciendas are now considered open-air museums, providing a glimpse into how life back then used to be. And in addition, there are other haciendas where you can do day tours and visit cenotes and old buildings like the machine house where the Heineken processing took place. The haciendas are evidence of all of this immense wealth during the colonial times in this region. And of course, with one-of-a-kind locations like these, you can imagine that there are multiple options for romance if that's what your clients are looking for. You can arrange destination weddings, proposals, vow renewals, anniversaries, romantic dinners, the list goes on. And these can all be done in some pretty astounding places that are sure to make these special occasions unforgettable for your clients. And I think this is really something that makes the Yucatan stand out distinctly from other destinations in Mexico and other areas of the world. You really do have access to venues like cenotes, haciendas, or colonial houses. And that's something that will help you take special occasions for your clients to a totally other level, which they will definitely appreciate. So let's move on to some of nature's blessings in the destination. Something that cannot go without mentioning is the more than 3,000 cenotes located in the state of Yucatan. You've heard me mention cenotes, and for those of you who are not familiar with what they are, basically they're natural sinkholes, all connected by underground rivers. The whole Yucatan Peninsula is formed from limestone, and from years, probably thousands of years, of erosion from the underground rivers, these sinkholes have been formed. And for the Mayans, these used to be considered sacred places because it was meant or looked at as an entrance to the underworld. Now you can practice scuba diving, free dives, or just swimming and relaxing in these beautiful places in nature. There are many different categories of cenotes. So if your clients enjoy immersing themselves with local culture, they may want to visit a cenote run by a neighboring local community. On the other hand, if they're looking really for more facilities on site, such as food, cycling, zip lining, they would probably want to choose a private cenote. Consulting the Yucatan travel website can help you assist you in helping your clients make this choice of which kind of place they want to visit. And then, of course, there is, with this type of natural wonder, also caves and caverns, which you can find within these intricate networks of cenotes. They also used to be sacred places for the Mayans, and now they make a great playground for adventure lovers. You can rappel into these places with different levels of difficulty, or simply explore to see the beautiful stalagmites and stalagmites. So we all know that there's lots of clients out there looking for sun and beach, right? And this is definitely something very popular. And this destination may not be on the radar of the average beach seeker, but it's really considered one of the state's best-kept secrets. With more than 300 kilometers of coast, there's definitely no shortage of beach. And I'm going to be honest, if your clients are looking for a big, all-inclusive resort, this is not the place for them. But if they're looking for a quiet, relaxed beach to be at one with nature, this is definitely the place. In addition to pristine beaches, you can also kayak in the mangroves, pink lagoons, and of course, we cannot forget the flamingos. You can see hundreds of pink flamingos in their natural habitat, in addition to many other species of birds. So if you have any bird watchers as clients, this is definitely a great place for them. There's 465 species to be exact. And really, overall, this is really a perfect ecotourism destination. And the magic doesn't end with culture, adventure, beaches, and ecotourism. Archaeology is also really, really important to the destination. I'm sure many of you have heard of or visited Chichen Itza, but outside of Chichen Itza, you have access to 18 more archaeological sites which are open to the public. It's important to point out that the site of Uxmal and Chichen Itza are both designated World Heritage Sites by UNESCO, and the Temple of Kukulkan is one of the 7 new wonders of the world. And I don't know, for those of you who have been to Chichen Itza on a day tour, you notice now there's lots of crowds from all of the bus tours coming from Cancun and different areas. But one of the great things, there's even a small hotel located on the property that you could stay in, and it gives you access to the site of Chichen Itza before any of those buses arrive. So it's a totally different experience than seeing it with all of the other tourists. You really feel like you kind of got a private viewing, which is really nice. So speaking of magic, Mexico has a special designation for certain towns in their country that are deeply special due to history and cultural significance. These are called pueblos mágicos, or magical towns in English. The first one, Uxmal, is called the City of Three Cultures, because here you'll find the pre-Hispanic, the colonial, and the current era all living together in harmony. The buildings in this town are all painted yellow, which is really beautiful. And so those photos that you take will definitely make a great Instagram pic. It's really, really fantastic when you see it all there and all of that beauty. The second one, Valladolid, is located in the east of the state, about 45 minutes from Chichen Itza. And it's a colonial city with markets, cenotes, handcrafts, and historical buildings. And both of these places can be found en route if you do make the choice of combining the destinations and driving from Cancun. And they definitely make that road trip worthwhile. So it really breaks up that drive from Cancun to Merida. And they're both also very accessible from the city of Merida if you're doing that as a standalone, as a day trip. And one of the things that makes Yucatan such a special destination is the fact that they have managed to preserve their Mayan culture. You can easily organize a visit to a local community for your clients where they can work hands-on to make things like hammocks, tortillas, linen shirts in the community workshops that are available. Your clients will really walk away with an appreciation of the warmth and the hospitality of these Mayan people. And, that kind of local experience I find, I don't know about you, but these days people are really looking for something to do that is not your typical tourist attraction, something that gives them a bit of bragging rights to come home and talk about that they actually experienced something authentic from the destination. And this is the perfect kind of experience for them. And as mentioned, the destination has wonderful tradition. It's not uncommon even in modern workplace for people to be wearing traditional clothing or respecting the culture in many ways. Women wear colorfully embroidered blouses. They're loose-fitting. They're called hupils, which are woven usually in white with lots of intricate, colorful embroidery. And men commonly wear gaivera shirts, and they're light, elegant shirts, some made with 4 square pockets. But both can be worn in casual settings or formal settings because they're also worn at weddings. They're made from cotton and linen materials that keep the wearer cool on warm, humid days. Also, in addition to the clothing, various forms of the Mayan language are spoken, and pre-Hispanic religious rituals are also still observed. In some parts of the region, Mayan language actually prevails over Spanish, and Spanish might be spoken very little in some of these small villages. And more than over 30 Maya dialects exist in the region. And of course, the Spanish influence on Maya culture is abundantly clear in the jarana, which is a dance that the Yucatecans have been performing for centuries. In addition to all of this tradition, the Mayan rituals, like I said, are still part of the culture of some people in this area. Much of you can see reflected in some of the decadent spa treatments offered by the hotels or haciendas. One example of such ritual is something really cool. It's called the Royal Zumpulcha, or the Mayan sweat bath purification ritual. Now, it might not sound too attractive, but actually when you hear a little bit more about it, it's very interesting. This is celebrated in a sacred ceremonial cave or a special temple to purify the mind, the body, and the soul. And at each ceremony, a Mayan elder, a healer of sorts, or what some people call a shaman, performs a cleaning spiritual ritual as he chants sacred Mayan prayers. And then he performs a limpia, or a cleansing of the person who's participating. He will then anoint them with a sacred oil extracted from the ceiba tree, which Mayans considered to be the tree of life. And then you hear mystic sounds and calls of drums, all part of this Mayan ceremony. And the cleansing ceremony is said to have beneficial purification effects and symbolizes fire, wind, and earth and water as cosmic energy sources for personal healing. I don't know about you, but it sounds to me like a great way to start out the new year. And then, of course, another way to start out the new year is fantastic food. And really, you don't have to go anywhere else other than the Yucatan to get that. The exquisite Yucatecan cuisine is based on a mixture of ingredients used by the ancient Maya, which incorporate flavors brought from Europe, with later contributions from the Caribbean and the Middle East. It's really considered some of the best of what Mexico has to offer in terms of cuisine and is really world-renowned. You'll find that the tastes of the Yucatecan cuisine, it's a flavorful combination of condiments, spices like pumpkin seed, oregano, purple onion, sour orange, achiote, sweet pepper, cilantro, habanero peppers, and many other great things, all combined together. And some of the typical menu items of the region range from cochinita pibil, which is a pork dish, panuchos, which you see on the right hand of the screen, Salbutes, pork chuck, lime soup, which is absolutely delicious, and reno negro and queso reno. And these dishes are amazing. You'll have the traditional, but you can actually go to some great gourmet restaurants which kind of take it to a whole other different level to experience. And if that doesn't have all of your taste buds running to the Yucatan, you're definitely missing out for sure. I can tell you my dining experiences there have been exceptional, combining really unique and delicious taste with the dining experience enriched with historical architecture, because some of these restaurants are really in some fabulous places, the cultural ambiance, and of course the warmth of the hosts, which goes without saying. I would strongly recommend that you encourage your guests to venture outside of their hotels to sample what's offered. As I said before, it's very safe in the city of Merida, and they really can experience some pretty incredible things. There's even gastronomic tours that are offered, or you could even take it to the next level and participate in a cooking class where you will learn hands-on how to prepare all of these delicious dishes. Many of the destination's restaurants have won very prestigious awards. There are over 300 restaurants of all kinds and classes just in the city of Merida. And of course, we can't go any further without talking about the hotels. As I mentioned before, Yucatan is not known for mass market all-inclusive hotel product, but they do actually have a very good all-inclusive product, a hotel located beachfront in a small town called Telchac. It's called the Reef Yucatan All-Inclusive, which is pictured on the right at the top. And this is really a nice place. It's nothing fancy, but as you can see, I mean, the beach is really pristine. The service, I can tell you, is taken to another level because the people are just so kind and helpful, and it just really makes everybody feel like they're at home. They learn your name. Very different from, like I said, these large all-inclusive mass market hotels. It's probably about a 3.5 star by most people's standards. So, it offers an alternative if people want something that's all-inclusive, that is there. Also in the area of Telchac, you'll find multiple condos and Airbnb rentals all up and down this beautifully long stretch of beach. So you won't see hotel after hotel or big high-rise. So that's really nice for your clients. You can walk forever. In the city of Merida, there are over 5,919 hotel rooms of all categories. You'll find some of the well-known brands like Hyatt Regency, Holiday Inn, as well as Mexican brands like Fiesta Americana, which I'm sure you're familiar with. They also have an abundance of boutique-style hotels, which is what I really love, like today's prize, which is the Hotel Rosas y Chocolate. Many hotel packages, including air, can be booked with WestJet Vacations, or you may choose to create a package on your own, so it really can be done however you like. Now, there's so much to talk about when it comes to the state of Yucatan, but I've saved the best for last. It's people. Now, I told you before I had the opportunity to live and work in Mexico and travel a lot throughout the country, and I've always found Mexican people in general to be very hospitable and kind, but I have to say that when you travel to Yucatan, you'll feel like you've truly arrived home. Everyone is warm, welcoming, with such a sense of respect for mankind that's evident everywhere you go. And it's not uncommon for you to be invited into someone's house for coffee. And the local pride over their destination is really contagious. People are always one of the reasons, it is one of the reasons why the state is so safe. And one of the reasons why I always feel confident to recommend it to my family and friends. I personally travel there again and again, and I'm really excited that this year's tourism trade show for Mexico, it's called Tianguis Turístico, which I'm sure some of you may have heard of, will be hosted in the city of Merida, which is really great because it'll give the opportunity to really showcase this destination to many people in the industry. And it's taking place the 22nd to the 25th of March. So if you have the opportunity, I'd really encourage anybody to participate in that show because it's a great trade show on its own. But the fact that it's being hosted in the city of Merida is a great opportunity to really experience a different kind of destination than what you might be accustomed to within Mexico. Now, I would like to conclude our time by sharing a short video that gives you a beautiful visual glimpse into this exciting destination and shows you some video of some of the things that I've talked about. Now, if there's any issue with sounds at all, it is a great visual regardless, so hopefully all of you will be able to hear it well, and I'm going to go ahead and play that now.
We've been friends for a while, but something changed us forever. We found ourselves in a 17th century paradise, a place where history is all around us, determined to shock all your senses and challenge your deepest curiosity. I've never imagined tasting heaven could be possible. How can you explain giving up words and giving into your soul? Or the experience of swimming in a sacred pool reserved only for the Mayan gods? We can't explain it. We just surrender. Yucatan. Live it to believe it.
So to sum it all up, Yucatan is really a guaranteed client pleaser. You can't go wrong recommending Yucatan to your clients. There are really few destinations that can offer this type of diversity and a feeling like you've just discovered the best kept secret of travel. The best part, it's very accessible from Canada, as I've mentioned, whether or not you book it as a standalone destination and take advantage of this direct service offered by WestJet, or whether you take advantage of one of the convenient connectors, or choose to sell it as an add-on to enhance a client's experience in Cancun or Riviera Maya. The result of selling this destination is a return customer for sure, and you'll look for, to them like you're a hero for really taking that vacation experience to another level. So I just want to thank you again for sharing your time with me today. I hope if you have not yet traveled to Yucatan, it's now on the top of your own personal bucket list and top of mind when your clients are looking for something really special. For more information, please be sure to consult the yucatan.travel website, and you're welcome to subscribe for free to Travel Life magazine at travellife.ca, as we often post articles on the destination. And I'd like to wish everybody good luck on your chance to win 4 nights at Rosas y Chocolate. Personally, I had a chocolate massage there once that is to die for, so if whoever wins that prize, you definitely need to check that out. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tammy. That was great. Tons of great information there, and a couple of questions have been submitted already.
Okay.
The first was one that I was able to answer. Debbie asked for a recording of the webinar and asked if it could be emailed to her. And
Okay.
I just answered, letting her know that the recording is going to go live on YouTube tomorrow. And yes, to anyone that wants the webinar recording emailed to them, I typically send it to everybody anyways, so you guys will probably get that in your inbox tomorrow afternoon at the latest. So yeah, that's no problem at all. And right, and then Debbie asked, what are the dates for the tourism conference in Merida?
It's the 22nd to the 25th of March.
Great.
Now, if anybody had, I guess I could give my email address if anybody had any specific inquiries to that. In the past, the tourism board has selected tourism people, as especially agents coming from Canada, because they've wanted to encourage more participation. So they've even offered a certain sponsorship where they cover your accommodation and air. Because of the dissolving of the Mexico Tourism Board last year, I'm not really sure how that component is working this year, but I'll be attending this show myself, and I do have contact with them. So if anybody's really interested in attending, I could inquire and find out how that works.
Great. Thanks, Tammy. And again, to anyone that might want to ask a question, there are 2 ways to submit a question. You can either type one into the chat box or submit it to the Q&A box, which is found in the Zoom toolbar. It's one of the icons in the middle there that says Q&A. Right, and then someone is asking for your email address. Okay,
so it's T as in Tammy, Cecco, C like Charlie, E-C-C-O, at travellife.ca.
Great, I'm going to type that in right here, travellife.ca.
Yeah, and as I said, you can subscribe for free on the website to the magazine that comes out quarterly, as well for yourself or your clients.
Ah, perfect. So I'm just keeping an eye on the two boxes here to see if any more questions pop up.
No problem. As I mentioned too, the Yucatan travel website, yucatan.travel, is a great resource for all of these different things that I talked about. You can go on, and there is a language bar, so initially it'll come up in Spanish, but you can select English, and it'll have everything translated for you, but it has, different suggestions in terms of experiences that you can have. And as I said, from November to April every year, WestJet Vacations offers packages as well as flight only to the destination.
That's great. Neil says, muchas gracias for a very informative and inspiring webinar. Thank you, Neil. Oh, and then he asks, will you be offering any FAMs from Atlanta in 2020?
From
any
where?
travel agent FAMs from Atlanta in 2020?
That I do not know in terms of their FAM schedule, but I do know that they organize tourism FAMs. They used to be handled a lot by the Mexico Tourism Board here in Toronto, but as I said, now that they don't exist anymore, it's really gone regional to each specific state.
Yeah.
But there would probably be a contact on their website to reach out for that sort of thing.
Right, that makes sense.
And as I said, even for any of you who are looking to even just educate yourself a little bit more or check it out, if you don't happen to be available to go to that tourism trade show in March, the next time you're going to Cancun, it really is quite an easy add-on to check it out, even if you wanted to spend a day or two. And like I said, there's some interesting stopping points for that drive, which, really makes it a lot of fun to explore those places along the way.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And Neil is asking if you can maybe keep him on the potential FAM list for 2020.
I definitely will if I hear of any FAM trips. I can even, because I work very closely with the state of Yucatan, if they advise me of any FAM trips, I could always send it out to any of the participants of this webinar.
Oh, great. Yeah, okay, because I will be, I'll provide you with contact information for the people that attended today.
Okay, perfect.
And the next question is, this is a comment. This is from Ellen. She says, this is an area I've been to, this is an area I've been curious about, so thank you so much for this valuable info.
Oh, great. Thank you. Like I said, hopefully it came across how much I love it. It really is, Mexico I love as a destination in general, just because I find it so diverse from each state that you visit in the country. Really what you find is so different in terms of the cuisine, and the culture is slightly different and everything. And Yucatan State is just something really, really special. Like I said, the people really make it. And, for people who are hesitant to travel within Mexico outside of staying at a beach resort, like I said, the fact that it is one of the safest places within Mexico to travel should be, very reassuring to them, that they can have a great experience. Visiting the city of Mérida, for me, I compare it a lot of times to being in a city in Europe. The cobblestone streets, the architecture, all of that. But it's much closer to home, and let's face it, a lot cheaper, right, for people to have that kind of experience.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that knowing that it's safe is a big pull factor too.
Yeah.
For me personally. Okay, so nothing else has been submitted, so maybe we'll just give it another 30 seconds and then wrap it up.
Okay, sounds good. And you'll do the draw this week, right, you said?
Oh, that's right, yeah. So the Excel spreadsheet I can send to you today, and then my colleague and I will do the draw probably tomorrow morning.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so to anyone that's eager about the prize draw, we'll probably notify you about that next week. Okay, so I do believe that's it for questions. So I would like to thank everyone that tuned into the webinar today. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your day. We really appreciate it. And Tammy, thank you so much for your fascinating and very informative presentation.
No problem. I hope everybody has a great afternoon, and hopefully we brought a little warmth through this topic, considering the weather is not exactly inviting these days, and I hear it's not going to be very attractive over the weekend. So we've got to think about all of those sunny destinations.
Oh, absolutely. And we have a couple of thank you messages here in the Q&A box.
Perfect. Great. I hope everybody has a wonderful day.
You too, Tammy. Take care, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, all.